Welcome back, YouTube. My name is Nigel MrSchroeter, and today we are here to bring you guys a video that I think is going to be good for this time of the year. We have a lot of college students that are going back to college. I remember these times of year when I first started college, and I went to UCF, and we went into that first seminar, and they were talking to us about setting up finances and setting up our education and becoming adults and housing and transportation and all these things. And I think it can just be very overwhelming. So I wanted to kind of just put this video together. Just 15 quick little finance tips that I would have liked to know when I was a first year on campus freshman in college. So let's start off. First things first, you want to create a budget. Now, as a first year college student, this may be extremely easy or it may be extremely hard for you. Reason being, when it comes to setting up a budget, you may come from a family that's financially literate and you may already have some sort of a budget already in place. Maybe you already are working or have some form of income set aside for you to be able to focus on school, or maybe you are using student loans to finance your education, or you have a grant or a scholarship or whatever it may be. So with that being the case, you want to start off, like I said, with a budget. So now, how do you create a budget? If you're new to budgeting, please don't go and freak yourself out with looking at all these different budgeting plans where people are going to tell you, you have to spend 50% and invest 20% and save 30% and all these different things. Right now, what you need to do is create a realistic budget. So you want a budget that covers all of your essentials, your rent, your groceries, your transportation, all those things. And you need to realistically think of a way to track this. So how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. And at this point in time, your main focus is that you have more money coming in than you have going out. Now, if you are like most college students, please don't panic. More than likely, you're going to have more money going out than coming in. This is when you start looking at how can you create work-life balance with being a student. Are you going to take the opportunity costs and go for student loans? Do you qualify for any grants or scholarships that can offset some of your expenses? Are you going to go a different route and get a part-time job or a full-time job? What can you manage with school in order to create a budget where you have more income than you have expenses? That's going to be your main focus. As time progresses, then you can get more into looking into different budgets and creating investments and savings and things along that line. Now, tip number 2, you're going to want to prioritize your needs over your wants. So what am I saying? I'm not the person who's going to tell you don't have fun in college. I had plenty of fun in college. Even to this day, I have fun and go out and do things. So yes, you want to treat yourself occasionally and go out and do different things. However, you have to prioritize those needs. So the first thing that you should be doing is paying for your essentials before you go and start, partying and going to events and spending on different things that are unnecessary. And speaking of spending on things that are unnecessary, that rolls right into my third point. Cook at home. Or if you like me and you don't really cook, at least have meals that are things you can prepare at home. It's going to be cheaper. You might have to eat some TV dinners. You might have to eat some noodles, whatever it is that you can make at home. That's going to be cheaper. You can't, in most cases, afford to be spending money every single day eating Uber, Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever it is that you utilize, or even if you're just going out and going to fast food places and eating, that money can rack up your expenses relatively quickly, and it can cause you to go negative or just, be unnecessarily spending. Now, I'm not saying don't ever go out and eat, no, but the more that you eat at home and the cheaper that you prepare meals, the more money that you'll have available in your budget. Now, tip number 4, and I'll tell you, I'm probably the worst person on this till this day, but take advantage of your student discounts. So, as for myself, I am currently a master's degree student as well as I am a instructor. Therefore, I get both teacher and student discounts. Now, please don't ask me how many of them I've used this year, because I'd be ashamed to tell you that I've used a whopping 0. However, I am going to tell you that if you do take advantage of these discounts, every dollar saves up, and saves you time and money in the long haul. This is something that I'm going to kind of put on my to-do list to start paying more attention to. I have used other discounts this year, but I typically overlook those student and teacher discounts that I probably should be getting. But there may be other discounts that I'll see. I might see an advertisement or something, or I may see something that goes on clearance or something like that and get it for cheaper there. So definitely shop your deals. Tip number 5 is going to be limit your credit card use. Now, this can be extremely hard and extremely dangerous as a first year college student. And I can tell you so many horror stories of $500. And what do I mean by the $500 horror story? Luckily, now many banks require you to start off with a secured card, so you have to put up your own money. So people are typically more responsible when they utilize their own money. However, there are still many banks that will allow you to get the $500 card. What do I mean by that? The $500 card story. I've heard many people that go to college, and sometimes these cards are $6,000 or, $1,000 or $1,500. But for the most part, if you are a student, don't necessarily have an income or anything, you go and apply for a credit card. There are many banks that if you're a student, they will go ahead and give you a $500 credit card. Now, this card, I would say, don't ever use unless absolutely necessary. Because typically these initial cards don't give you any rewards or anything like that. So just allow that card to rack up time and build up your credit history. Maybe swipe the card once a month and pay it right back. I would even put it on something that's recurring like Netflix and have that on auto pay so that it automatically pays it and you never have to see the card. You can get the card, put in the account information for that recurring charge, cut the card up. You don't need it anymore. Put it on auto pay. Limit that credit card use, because you don't want to get the $500 card and go and swipe it up and then ruin your credit for the next 7 years because you made a few bad decisions in your first year of college that are going to follow you throughout your adulthood. Now, number 6, save on textbooks. So textbooks for college can be extremely expensive. What I would recommend you doing, some people don't like to do it. Some professors may find this offensive. However, I've always done it. Whenever I take a class, I go to the professor and I ask them, do we actually need the textbook? There are many times when you will not need the textbook for a class. The professor has their own notes and everything already aligned, and they don't expect for you to actually buy the textbook. There are many times where you can get a used textbook or a digital copy or something else that may be cheaper. Sometimes you can go to the library and you can rent the textbook, or you can check it out from the library, or you might have a friend who took the class before and already has the book. Do what you gotta do. Save that money on textbooks. Some of these textbooks are $300. If you got a friend who goes to the same college as you and they took the same classes as you the semester before or the year before, check the textbook. Make sure it's the same textbook. Take the textbook. Save the money, please. Tip number 7. I already mentioned it before, so I'm going to go over it quickly. But have a part-time job or a side hustle if possible. I can tell you we had one guy when I was in college. There was a club near the college. The club had a lot of parking that was in sand. And, when it would rain some nights, people's cars would get stuck. He wasn't even a guy who liked to party, but he put a winch on his truck. And he would go to the clubs when the clubs were closing and people were trying to get out and their trucks were stuck. And he'd say, hey, instead of you having to call a tow truck, rate on a tow truck, and, go through that whole ordeal, go ahead and give me $50 and I'll pull you out now. Quick, easy side hustle. Made him a lot of money throughout college. If you sit there in a parking lot, man, that particular venue allows you to offer your service. Say you get 10 people that night. That's $500 in a night. That could potentially pay off, a car payment if you have a car payment. That could be paying for insurance if you don't have a car payment, or that could be money in your pocket if you don't have, any other disposable funds. Look at whatever side hustle you can use and be creative. Maybe you have a skill, a talent, whatever. Use that to your advantage. Tip number 8. This is something that it's never too late to do, and that's have an emergency fund. So, like I said, you want to have more income than expenses, and I would say take at least half of that additional income and put towards an emergency fund. So in the event that something goes haywire, catch a flat, run out of gas, whatever it is, you have some extra money to the side there. You never know what could happen in life. Tip number 9, avoid student loan traps. So if you have student loans, know the terms, know the repayment plans, and don't just borrow to borrow. Look at your scholarship options. Look at grants. Look at work study opportunities. Look at everything that's available to you. The more free money that you can get, the better, because a loan is not free money. Eventually, you're going to have to pay it back in one way or another. Tip number 10, track your spending. So like I say, go back and evaluate your budget. Are you actually living up to that budget? All right. It's nice to take a budget and draw it up and have it on paper, make it a nice little Excel spreadsheet or however you want to do it. Make it look all pretty, but are you actually following that budget? So, you can download applications and do different things to check that out and make sure that you're following up with your budget, or you can literally sit down and go through everything on your budget and see, is that what you really spent your money on? Tip number 11, plan for your future. If this isn't important enough, start thinking about your financial goals beyond graduation. Start saving, start investing, start paying off your student loans. One thing that was a huge advantage for me is while I was in college, I paid off my initial student loans when I was working on my bachelor's degree. So when I got out of college, it was easy for me to obtain credit because they're like, well, look, this guy paid off his student loan. Who does that? So it boosted my credit and allowed me opportunities there. So pay off those loans. Tip number 12, build financial literacy. You guys are already in the right place. check out some other YouTubers, check out some different books, read, study, maybe take a finance course while you're on campus, or join a club, or whatever you have, resources you have available to you. Look for a mentor, speak to different people, do whatever you can do, network, and build your knowledge base of financial literacy. Educate yourself on different topics: investing, budgeting, taxes, retirement planning, asset protection, all these different things, and do it as best as you can at free or no cost to you, and build up your knowledge base. Tip number 13: avoid impulse spending. And this should be tip number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a important thing. Don't just buy things in the moment. One thing that I always tell people is think for 3 days. So think for 3 days. Take 3 days to think before you buy something. So for instance, if I want to buy a new pair of headphones, before I buy that new pair of headphones, I'm going to think, what value do these headphones bring to my life? Are they beneficial to me? Are they an asset, or are they a liability? Do I really need them? Think before you buy. Same thing really applies to food. If you buy food when you're hungry, I can guarantee you're going to spend more money on food. If you budget and grocery shop, you're going to spend less. Number 14, monitor your credit score. So know the things that will impact your credit score. Know those key elements to your credit score, but also check your credit report for accuracy and take any steps that you need to improve your credit score. And last but not least, number 15, stay organized. Keep your financial documents organized. Your bills, your receipts, your bank statements, your tax documents, those W-2s that you get, those college tax forms that you're going to get for your college expenses, all those different things. Keep those things organized. And just remember to build good financial habits from now, so that they will set you on a great platform for the rest of your life, so that you can continue to elevate and grow your finances to a much better standing throughout life. You want to continually see gradual improvement in your finances, and if you stick to those 15 tips, I can guarantee it. So as always, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.